Chapter 61 Long Qi. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Whoa, that was close. Guan Li watched the corpse king's body stabilize. He finally felt the tension drain out of him. Realizing what had just happened, he noticed his clothes were soaked in cold sweat. Cleanse. He immediately used the skill. The sweat and foul odor vanished instantly. Handy little trick. The corpse king's flesh continued to writhe as the puppet materials visibly melted into it. Ding! Congratulations, you've obtained the corpse king puppet. The system notification chimed as the corpse king finished merging. Name, corpse king puppet, potential, unknown, strength, advanced 4-star, abilities, super healing, perfect adaptation, devour, demon breaker wings, tyrant's claw, transforming bone armor, evaluation. A puppet made from a corpse king's body. It's perfectly built and has the potential for unlimited growth. The corpse king puppet's profile appeared before Guan Li. Unlimited growth potential, huh? Awesome. Guan Li was thrilled. Worth every penny I spent on the materials. This corpse king puppet blew away all his expectations. Standing before him, the corpse king puppet looked like an ordinary person. All its gruesome organs and tissues had been flawlessly integrated. Attack! Guan Li pointed at the far wall. The corpse king puppet punched without hesitation. The force created a massive hole in the wall. And that's just in its normal state. When it fully transforms, its strength will jump at least another level. I need to give you a name. Let's call you Longqi. The corpse king puppet didn't respond. It was just an empty shell, devoid of independent thought, programmed to follow Guan Li's commands. Okay, now, change to a more handsome look, he instructed. Longqi's face began to morph. Soon, a completely new face appeared. Longqi now had the look of a model, the kind of guy that turns heads. Not bad. You have a knack for this. Guan Li nodded, satisfied. With the corpse king puppet complete, Guan Li turned his attention to strengthening his army. He had plenty of points and cards to work with, enough to level them up. Legion expansion card, 5 people, x2. After a moment's thought, Guan Li decided to use them on the Iron Armored Shield Guard and the Shadow Sword Cultivator units. System. Expand the Armored Shield Guard and Shadow Sword Cultivator units. 2 summoning circles appeared, 1 black and 1 silver. 10 figures materialized before Guan Li. Master. My lord. The soldiers knelt, showing their respect. Rise. Guan Li gestured for them to stand. Low-grade armor selection card x50. He didn't hesitate to use them right away. Wide array of armor options appeared. Shield Mountain Heavy Armor, Moon Armor, Swift Armor, Courage Mail. System. Give me some advice. Faced with so many choices, Guan Li felt overwhelmed. Host. Please specify which legion you wish to equip. The system replied. The Iron Armored Shield Guard. The main frontline unit deserved priority in getting upgraded armor. The Iron Armored Shield Guard is a unit known for its strong defense but limited mobility. I recommend equipping them with Shield Mountain Armor, Heavy Iron Armor, or other high defense options. This will maximize their survivability. The system offered a practical recommendation. From the choices, he located the suggested armor. Name, Shield Mountain Heavy Armor. Type, Heavy Armor. Grade, Advanced 2-star. Talent, Fortitude. Evaluation, crafted from high-quality fine iron. It inspires the feel of a mountain with its incredibly strong defensive power. Name, Heavy Iron Armor. Type, Heavy Armor. Grade, Advanced 2-star. Talent, Fortitude. Evaluation, heavy armor made from dense iron, offering exceptional protection. Ordinary weapons will have difficulty penetrating it. The Shield Mountain Heavy Armor resembled a massive mountain. The heavy iron armor was all black, radiating a sense of sturdiness. Guan Li preferred the Shield Mountain Heavy Armor, finding its size and imposing presence more appealing. Acquired Shield Mountain Heavy Armor x35. Leo. Gear up. Guan Li used the system to automatically equip the unit. All the Iron Armored Shield Guards, except for the one currently being resurrected, donned their new armor, thick, full coverage armor. Thank you, Master. Leo said. 15 low-level armor cards remained. Guan Li decided to give priority to the skeleton shield guards. Name, Undead Plate Armor. Type, Plate Armor. Grade, Advanced 2-star. Talent, Undead Might. Evaluation, Plate Armor worn by the undead from the abyss, imbued with the power of the undead. Attackers will be afflicted with the power of the undead. The plate armor had an aged look, dark energy radiated from its surface. The surviving skeleton shield guards were clad in the plate armor, they were now more like noble knights. Guan Li nodded, pleased. This looks way better. He then opened a point store. Unit size was key. Guan Li planned to invest most of his points there. Star Legion expansion card, 10 people, give me 10 of them. With a grand gesture, Guan Li prepared to spend big. Whatever. I can do what I want. Purchase Star Legion expansion card, 10 people, x10 will cost 200,000 points. Do you wish to proceed? The system's voice rang out. Buy. Guan Li didn't hesitate. Congratulations, you have successfully purchased the Star Legion expansion card, 10 people, x10. You are so wise and mighty, the system gushed, practically buttering him up. Guan Li ignored it. Iron Armored Shield Guard unit expanded to 20 people. Shadow Sword Cultivator unit expanded to 20 people. Elven Archer unit expanded to 20 people. Skeleton Undead Army expanded to 30 people. The system alerts poured in, since the Skeleton Undead Army had 3 subunits. Each was expanded by 10 members. For summoning circles of varying designs appeared. 100 new legionnaires stood before Guan Li. Greetings, Master. The legionnaires saluted in unison. At ease. Guan Li waved his hand. Thank you, Master. The soldiers stood up straight, waiting for instruction. Looking at the growing unit, he smiled in satisfaction. This is more like it. There were around 200 legionnaires now. But this is just the start. I'm not in any rush. Looking at Leo and the Iron Armored Legion, something came to mind. I have a skill extraction opportunity, and I haven't used it yet. He hadn't extracted skills yet. The Armored Shield Guard skills were all meat shield. He didn't want to be a meat shield. But now that he had grasped the silver armor soul, he could now extract the skill. Perfect. Chapter 62 Survivor Camp. You are listening at novelfull.audio. System, extract the silver armor soul. Guan Li chose the silver armor soul. Ding. Extracting silver armor soul. The system chimed. As he activated the silver armor soul, a spectral figure appeared behind him. This phantom could strike targets within 10 feet. He opened the points mall again. Legion upgrade card X1, boosts Legion strength by 1 level. Usable only for legions below 10-star strength. Price, 50,000 points. Give me 8. Guan Li selected the Legion upgrade cards, instantly dropping 400,000 points. Ding. Congratulations, host. You've purchased 8 Legion upgrade cards. You're ballin'. Awesome. Off the chain. Guan Li ignored the system's hype, he'd heard it all before. System. Upgrade the Skeleton Undead Army. System. Upgrade the Armored Shield Guards. With a satisfied breath, Guan Li upgraded all 4 legions. The legionnaires' power surged. Their aura began to rise steadily. Quickly blasting through the 4-star intermediate level, then on to 4-star premium. The legion's strength skyrocketed. After that spending spree, he still had around 60,000 points left. Guan Li promptly spent another 55,000 points, snapping up items that accelerated the Legionnaire's advancement. He saved the last 3 to 5,000 for emergencies. Gotta keep some cash in your pocket, just in case. Guan Li pulled out a premium food card. A rich, meaty aroma filled the air. The scent alone made him feel invigorated. Is this the meat of an evolved creature? Guan Li could clearly sense the difference in the meat's quality. No wonder it was better suited for awakened people. This premium food card was easily worth 5 ordinary ones. He took a bite, and delicious juices burst forth. Damn, that's good. Guan Li activated his skill, Gobble. After a while, he belched contentedly, washing it down with a bottle of pure water. He felt full of energy. Alright, chow time's over. Time to roll. After Guan Li said that, he realized how lame it sounded. Crap. Time to go monster hunting, he quickly corrected himself. Irene. You can stand down, he notified Irene on the rooftop through mental power. Understood, the elf archer and skeleton mage returned to the square, a legion of 200 marched out, a force to be reckoned with. Z City Building. A 50-story skyscraper. Formerly the ZZ center of Z City. Now, it served as a garrison and a concentration camp for Z City survivors. Thanks to the relentless efforts of the city defense force, nearly 10,000 survivors had been rescued in a single day, which was saying something. After all, 80% of the population was infected with the zombie virus. Z City's total population was around 1 billion. Meaning 800 million would become zombies. The remaining survivors were being ravaged by zombies and monsters, their numbers were dwindling fast. At the current rate, no more than 100 million survivors would be left in Z City. A simple iron fence perimeter had been erected on the building's outer edge. Beyond the fence lay a minefield. Designed to detonate if a horde of corpses attacked, tanks were positioned behind the iron grid defense line. Heavily armed city defense soldiers patrolled non-stop. Thousands of rocket launchers were mounted behind the steel barrier of tanks. Inside the camp, survivors had set up makeshift tents. Those without tents could only huddle on the muddy ground. Many eyes were vacant, devoid of hope. They'd already heard from the city defense force that the Republic of China had fallen. The end of the world had truly arrived. Not just zombies, but terrifying natural disaster monsters. Even the local plants and animals had mutated horrifically. It was as if, in just a few days, humanity had gone from apex predator to the most insignificant, weakest ants, forced to survive in the margins. The entrance of the Z City building was guarded by heavy soldiers. It was packed with supplies and weapons. Not long ago, there had been several survivor riots, people trying to storm the building and grab supplies. The ringleaders were shot dead. Seeing that, the rest of the survivors didn't dare to cause trouble. They understood that the rules had completely changed, the country had fallen, and they'd lost their protection. Only now did everyone realize just how great their country had been. Hey, man. When's dinner? A guy with a gut asked. If Guan Li were there, he would definitely recognize him, the vice principal of Z University. Chen Xiong. Not time yet. Just wait a bit, the soldier replied. Oh, Chen Xiong nodded, a look of disappointment crossed his face. He returned to the area where the Z University people were gathered. Hundreds of students were sitting around, dejected. Clearly, they'd been through hell in the last few days. Just surviving was a victory. Chen Xiong. You're back. What did the city defense guys say? A strange-looking dude spoke up. He had a tattoo of poison green color on his arm, and bright green hair. Bro Lin. When Chen Xiong saw the man, he called out in a fawning tone. How had the vice principal of Z University fallen so far? Kissing up to a student. Well, that was before. Now that even the city defense force had announced the fall of the country, Chen Xiong knew there was no going back. To survive, he'd swallow his pride. Back at Z University, he teamed up with several awakened students, but just when he was about to make his move, a group of even stronger students had burst into the performance room. A fierce fight broke out. Huang Xiao, Wang Li, and Li Zichao were killed in seconds. Since then, Z University had been controlled by these students. These students were brutal. They didn't care about Chen Xiong's position. They knew that as long as they had the power, they could do whatever they wanted. In just a few days, the female teachers and girls of Z University had been violated. Anyone who dared to resist was killed and thrown to the zombies. It wasn't until the city defense army arrived that they reined themselves in a bit. Dude. You look more and more like a dog, Lin Quan said with a smile. He put his foot on Chen Xiong's face. Heh heh. Bro Lin, what are you saying? It's an honor to be of service to Bro Lin. Chen Xiong was grinning from ear to ear. Although the city defense force had gathered the survivors here, they hadn't taken much action, just guaranteeing 2 meals a day. As for the infighting, as long as it didn't get out of control, they'd turn a blind eye. Finding survivors was enough of a headache. They didn't have time to deal with this pointless drama. Stop the chit-chat. When's dinner? Lin Quan kicked Chen Xiong away and asked with a disgusted look. They'd squandered too many resources, their food was long gone, now the entire Z University group was relying on handouts to survive. Not yet. Bro Lin, are you hungry? Chen Xiong was still fawning. Get lost. Go get Jiang Xin, that slut. After Lin Quan finished speaking, he walked into the tent. Yes, sir. A flicker of resentment flashed across Chen Xiong's face, but he didn't dare to show it. Chapter 63 Meeting. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After a few minutes, Jiang Xin sashayed out of the tent, Chen Xiong right behind her, sneaking glances. Man, she's really blossomed lately, he thought. How'd I miss how, she is. Outside the tent, Chen Xiong stopped her. Go on in. Brother Lin's waiting for you. Alone in a tent. Everyone knew what that meant. Okay, Jiang Xin replied, not resisting at all, her cheeks flushed, and her eyes had a strange glint. Damn cousin. What a slut. Chen Xiong muttered, watching her go, he'd seen her hooking up with guys left and right lately. All of them awakened, Chen Xiong found a place to sit. The other guys were huddled together, looking miserable, especially the boys, they looked like their hearts had been ripped out. A lot of them had girlfriends who dumped them for a piece of bread and water. Why can't I bring myself to kill zombies? One guy with glasses lamented. I'm deadly accurate in video games. If I were stronger, Xiao Shan wouldn't have run off with that other dude. Get real. You're useless. You can barely take a piss on your own. A sharp voice cut through his self-pity. He flinched, looking up to see the girl he couldn't stop thinking about. But the guy next to her definitely wasn't him. Xiao Shan. He stammered. Xian Feng. Look at you, you're a wreck. She sneered. Just total garbage. Xiao Shan. Ditch this guy, okay? Xian Feng pleaded, rising to his feet. Come back to me, and I'll protect you. I've conquered my fear. I'm ready to fight zombies. Ha! You're still garbage. You think you can kill zombies? The other guy scoffed. You even know how to hold a knife? Yeah. Now give me back Xiao Shan. Xian Feng lunged, he didn't stand a chance. Get lost, trash. The guy said, kicking him. Xian Feng hit the ground, howling. Pathetic, Xiao Shan said, a look of disgust on her face. Honey, let's go. Don't go. Xiao Shan. Xian Feng whimpered, watching them walk away, unable to do anything. He was just too weak. The others had already become numb to it all, they watched Xian Feng without emotion. This kind of thing happened all the time now, this was the end of the world. The weak got eaten, and the strong got all the respect. Nearby, Zhao Hai huddled in a corner, clenching his fists as he watched Xian Feng on the ground. I have to get stronger, he vowed. The last few days had hammered the reality home. Being a rich kid was meaningless now. Money was only good for wiping your butt. In a dark corner of the survivor camp, human nature was at its worst. Meanwhile, on the top floor of the City Z building, a meeting was in full swing. Uniformed city defense officers sat around a long white table, led by a middle-aged man. A cluster of gold stars glinted on his chest, those stars represented past glory, and, more importantly, his current status in the City Defense Army of Z City. The president, before everything went to hell, he had to take orders. Now, he was the supreme commander of Z City. No one told him what to do. Su Yunjian. He'd joined the City Defense Army at 18. Now, at 43, he was the president of City Z. He must have been really good at his job to get here in just over 20 years. An old man and a young man sat on either side of Su Yunjian. They were the deputy commanders, second only to him in power. The old man was named Wu Hai, and the young man, Shen Lingfei. The purpose of today's meeting was to figure out a plan for the future. Now that the country was gone, they were on their own. They could only rely on themselves. Alright, everyone, Su Yunjian announced, seeing that most of the attendees had arrived. Let's talk about what the city defense army should do. Sir, we have over 3,000 soldiers in the Z City Legion, an officer said. And plenty of heavy firepower. We could definitely gather survivors and build a base city. Su Yunjian knew him. Lu Sandao, a right general under Wu Hai, the Legion's hierarchy went, President, Deputy Commander, Chief General, Right General, Left General, 1000 Commander, 100 Commander, Captain, Vice Captain. Only those above the rank of Left General could attend this meeting. I agree, a Right General chimed in. Me too. We don't even know what's going on outside. Another officer, a regular general, pointed out. It could be even worse than City Z. Besides, where else would we go? Most of those present seemed to agree. Play it safe and develop a base city. Su Yunjian remained silent, deep in thought. Wu Hai and Shenlingfei also held their tongues. I'm not sure staying in City Z is the best idea, a dissenting voice cut in. It's tough to defend, and building a base city here. Good luck. Plus, Z City doesn't have a granary. How will we feed everyone? Even now, those 10,000 survivors are eating through a ton of food every day. Judging by the badge on his chest, the speaker was a chief general named Zhao Qua, a powerful man in his early 30s with an unusual presence. He was awakened. After the fall, the Legion leaders had seen the power of the zombies and monsters. They'd started letting the Legionnaires absorb crystal nuclei. This new world couldn't be explained by science anymore. If humanity wanted to survive, it had to evolve. Standing still meant certain death. Everyone in the conference hall was awakened, but some were stronger than others. Zhao Kuo was one of the strongest in the army. During a search and rescue operation, he'd gotten a lucky break that boosted his strength, making him a low-level 4-star. He'd also become an iron warrior, able to turn his skin into steel, invulnerable and incredibly powerful. Zhao Kuo, tell us what you're thinking, Su Yunjian said. He valued Zhao Kuo's opinion. The general was one of the strongest in the Legion. Heavy weapons would eventually become obsolete. These rising awakened were the future. Scary monsters were already appearing, with defenses strong enough to withstand tank fire. Monsters evolved, but weapons didn't. Chapter 64 Decision-Making of the City Defense Army. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yes, Mr. President, Zhao Kuo snapped to attention, giving Su Yunjian a crisp military salute. First, we gotta solve the food problem. City Z doesn't have a granary. We used to rely on state distribution. Second, there aren't any buildings around City Z suitable for setting up a base. How much would it even cost to start building one now? Just look at this temporary camp we're in. Is this even gonna hold up against a horde of zombies? Zhao Kuo's questions hung in the air, silencing the room. Food and defenses were major issues. Zhao Kuo, so what's your solution? Wu Hai, who had been quiet until now, finally spoke up. I think we should move south, Zhao Kuo declared. South? Why? The other three asked at the same time. Guangnan Prefecture. Yangcheng, just 2 words, and everyone instantly understood. Yangcheng. A city with history. Not only was it surrounded by strong city walls, but the land was fertile and food was plentiful, plus, dozens of legions were stationed there. They had way more weapons than City Z. Taking refuge in Yangcheng would be a smart move. General Zhao Kuo, that's a solid plan. But how do we even get there? Yangcheng and City Z are miles apart. Even in normal times, it's a whole day by air. And now? With survivors to protect? People will be dropping dead before we even leave Minzhou. That a dissenting voice cut through the room. Everyone turned to see Guo Xiaotian, a right general. Guo Xiaotian was a force to be reckoned with, just as strong as Zhao Kuo. Another 4-star awakened. He was an explosive warrior. He could unleash serious burst damage with both hands, making him incredibly dangerous. He might only be a right general, but in this new world, power mattered most, titles from before the apocalypse meant nothing, Guan was gone, and the old city defense army system was scrapped. They were only keeping up appearances for stability. The City Z Legion was bound to be purged soon, the strong take over, the weak step aside. That's the new rule. I'm with General Guo Xiaotian on this one. Rushing to Yangqing is too risky. We could get wiped out. A left general, a friend of Guo Xiaotian, chimed in. Besides, Zhao Kuo's idea was pretty radical, staying in City Z, finding survivors, building a base. That was the safest bet. As for food, they could scavenge nearby towns. I agree with General Guo Xiaotian too. Me too. Yeah. More and more people voiced their opinions. Cowards. You can't survive a disaster without taking risks. I'm with General Zhao Kuo. Yangqing is the way to go, once and for all. Zhao Kuo's supporters spoke up, too. The clashing opinions fueled a heated debate. Nobody was backing down. It was clear the army was divided, not united. Stay, find survivors, build a base. Go to Yangqing. The opposing views filled the conference room. The soldiers outside the door grew nervous, worried the meeting would turn into a brawl. Who would they even side with? Ahem. Enough, people. Settle down. You're not kids. This arguing is getting us nowhere. Wu Hai's cough quieted the room instantly. The Legion veteran still respected him. Since we can't agree, let's vote on it. Wu Hai looked old, but he was sharp as ever. He was an awakened too, hiding his strength beneath his frail frame. Alright, let's do it Wu's way. Time to vote. Sounds good to me. Everyone backed down, happy to have a solution. Voting was old-fashioned, but it worked. Someone get a ballot box and some paper. Su Yunjian called out, and a soldier hurried to find the supplies. Alright, voting starting now. No interference. Su Yunjian announced. A 4-star awakened himself, although his abilities weren't anything special. No problem. Fair and square. The generals nodded, agreeing to play by the rules. Soon, the ballots were cast. Let's announce the results. Zhao Kuo, 1 vote. Guo Xiaotian, 1 vote. Zhao Kuo, 1 vote. Su Yunjian read each name, marking them on the board. Zhao Kuo, 18 votes. Guo Xiaotian, 18 votes. A tie. Only one ballot remained. Su Yunjian opened it and revealed the final vote. It was his vote. Guo Xiaotian, 1 vote, 0.19 votes to 18, Guo Xiaotian won. Su Yunjian had voted for Guo Xiaotian because Zhao Kuo's plan was too risky. With the Legion in its current state, fleeing to Yangqing would likely lead to total annihilation. Even if they made it, the losses would be devastating. Damn it. This sucks. Zhao Kuo was disappointed but had to accept the decision. It was the will of the majority. Alright, then. Let's get to work. Find and rescue survivors. Scour the malls and supermarkets. Bring back anything edible. Su Yunjian issued the orders. Yes, sir. Everyone agreed. They had to find survivors and gather food. Guan Li, meanwhile, was unaware of the Legion's debate. He was on his way to the South District. With Su Yu, the zombie king, gone, the Legion had grown stronger. Guan Li decided to hunt down the silver-horned python in the south. The South District was a maze of mountains. After the apocalypse, the plants had exploded in growth, swallowing the surrounding towns in a matter of days. Guan Li was headed for the tropical rainforest nestled in the mountains. As he ventured deeper, the buildings thinned out, replaced by dense vegetation. The groans of zombies faded, replaced by the roars of monsters. The South District was sparsely populated, making it a haven for animals. Before the apocalypse, it had been a tourist attraction. Now, it was a paradise for mutated creatures. P.S. Getting promoted on the web. Please support and avoid saving chapters, thanks. Chapter 65 South District. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Not many zombies roam the South District, but mutant creatures. They're everywhere. Soon after entering the South District, Guan Li ran into one. A python, thick as a bucket, was stretched out across the street. This was a street, but after the apocalypse, plants started going wild, the trees planted along the sides had spread right into the road, the civilized city that once belonged to humans was slowly reverting back to raw nature. Name: Scaled Python. Potential: 5 stars. Strength: 4-star. Primary abilities: Constriction, Tail Whip, Tough. Scales. Evaluation: a brand new creature evolved from ordinary pythons, boasting powerful constriction and defense. This was definitely a mutant. The giant python was easily 7 or 8 meters long, its scales neatly arranged in rows. It was flicking its tongue, lazily soaking up the sun. Judging by its bulging stomach, it had just finished a big meal. Guan Li's arrival quickly got its attention. A pair of cold, vertical pupils locked onto him. His star. The scaled python coiled and lunged at Guan Li. Long Chi, go! Guan Li commanded. Long Chi surged forward. One punch connected with the python's head. Crack, star. The force shattered its scales, blood trickled down. Long Chi, being a 4-star advanced, was more than a match for it. Hiss. Whoosh, star. The python hissed, its massive tail lashing out with a sharp whistling sound. The tail slammed into Long Chi, sending him stumbling back a few steps. Immediately, his right arm started to change rapidly. A horrifying, twisted, indescribable arm emerged. Devouring claws twitched, and a single eye blinked open on the back of the hand. The eye scanned the surroundings, as if searching for prey. Long Chi swung its devouring claws, slashing at the python. The razor-sharp claws instantly tore through its scales. Rip, star. 5 chunks of bright red flesh were ripped from the python. A gaping maw opened, greedily swallowing the flesh. The python was confused. Who was the monster here? Sensing danger, it tried to escape. A tail flick aimed to knock Long Chi off balance, but this time, it didn't get its way. That huge, twisted, terrifying claw latched onto the python's tail, then it started slamming it against the ground. The python was thrashed to death, its scales were cracked and broken, blood gushing out. A blue card dropped from the python. Long Chi picked it up and dragged the corpse back to Guan Li. Swallow it. Keep the crystal nucleus. Guan Li put the card away. Long Chi understood, activating devouring claws, opening its bloody maw. Tooth-like organs extended. The 7 or 8 meter python was swallowed whole, the organs retracted, and a crystal nucleus was spat out. The corpse was gone, as if it had never been there. After Long Chi devoured the corpse, its strength improved a bit. That was the power of devour. Guan Li absorbed the crystal nucleus, but didn't feel a significant boost. He wasn't discouraged. He knew as long as he kept at it, he'd break through eventually. Hey! Buddy! Can you help us? Several survivors peeked out from the buildings lining the street. They were all asking Guan Li for help. The city guard is starting rescue operations. Just hang tight. Guan Li wasn't going to rescue them himself. He wasn't a saint, he couldn't help everyone. Then, could you spare some food? The survivors weren't giving up. I took care of the monster. If you want to leave, now's your chance. After Guan Li's warning, he headed deeper into the South District. Hearing this, the survivors hurriedly packed their things. That giant python had trapped them for a long time. Now that Guan Li had killed it, they were getting out of there. The mutant creatures were way too dangerous. They'd rather face zombies. Plus, they'd heard on the radio that the city guard had set up a survivor camp in the city Z building. Safe zones, and a steady food supply. The South District was not somewhere to be staying. As he went deeper into the zone, the plants grew thicker and thicker. The mutants were way more aggressive than zombies. They weren't just wandering aimlessly. They were actively hunting. Even people hiding indoors weren't safe. The deeper you went into the South District, the less likely it was for survivors to make it. Stay sharp. Guan Li's expression turned serious. Mutants had intelligence that made them far more dangerous than zombies. Quack quack. Star. 3 ugly monsters jumped out of the grass. 3 amigos of the grass. Guan Li immediately tensed. These monsters had healthy green skin. Ugly faces, big noses, pointy ears. They were short, with greedy looks in their eyes. Goblins. The creatures looked familiar. They looked like the weakest goblins in online games. A cannon fodder monster. But this was reality. These goblins were not weak. In fact, they were pretty damn strong. Name: 3 greedy goblin brothers, group monster, potential, 7 stars, strength, 4-star intermediate, ability, ominous, evaluation, goblins from rifts in time and space, they are not the weaklings in the game, do not take them lightly. The system scanned them, and the profile of the goblins appeared. Without a system, he would definitely be screwed. Who would expect the cannon fodder goblins from the game to actually be 4-star? Again, this was reality. Don't compare it to games. You'll get killed. Crackling. Karaji is fat. Karaji is skinny. That the 3 goblin brothers were jabbering nonsense. Guan Li didn't understand a word, but he understood what they were planning to do. Teach these little runts a lesson. Show them what a beatdown looks like, that he commanded. Dozens of soldiers charged forward. Spear throw. Several bone spears flew out, aimed at the 3 goblin brothers. Crackling. The goblin brothers shrieked. They dodged the spear attacks with ease. The goblin boss sprinted forward, the long sword in its hand slashed out. A skeleton shield soldier was too slow to block. The goblin boss knocked it back. The breastplate now had a long gash across it, showing just how strong these goblins are. Guan Li narrowed his eyes. As expected of 4-star goblins, they definitely had some skills, but even the best goblins couldn't take on an army. Guan Li didn't know any martial arts. Dozens of soldiers swarmed the goblin brothers. The goblins fought back hard. They coordinated their attacks and even managed to fend off the soldiers. That was the power of intelligent creatures. They knew how to work together and use tactics. Unfortunately, there were only 3 goblins, while there were 40 soldiers. 3 times as many. They fought off one wave, but they had taken a few cuts. That reckless style might work for a little while, but soon, they started to run out of steam. The blood kept flowing. After a few minutes, the 3rd goblin brother couldn't keep it up, leaving a gap in their defense. It's over. Guan Li muttered. Chapter 66 Goblin Tribe. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The soldiers saw their chance and jumped on it. The 3rd goblin brother went down quick. The other 2 goblins got wasted too. Took out the 3 goblin brothers, group of mobs, score 1000 points, understand the language, system chime, not a ton of points, but good for that skill. It took the soldiers just a few minutes to wipe out those goblin brothers. That weird tactic of theirs must have been their ability. That's what let them hold off the soldiers for a few minutes. Not bad. Next time, go even harder. Guan Li checked out the goblin corpses. The 3 goblin brothers dropped a weird blue card, with an X3 on it. Guan Li figured it was a reward multiplier. Whatever you open, it's tripled. Sweet little bonus. He pocketed the card. Gotta save up for a big opening, you know. He's all about those 10 pulls. No crystal cores on the goblins, though. The blood drinker was itching to get a piece. Long Chi happily obliged. The devouring claws opened up and scarfed down the 3 goblin bodies. Guan Li used the time to check out the new skill book. Linguistics. Learn this and you'll get the language skills, fluent in all kinds of languages. Awesome. Guan Li's eyes lit up. Looks like some of these natural disaster monsters are civilized races. Knowing the common tongue could be a lifesaver. System. Learn common tongue. Ding. Congrats. You now speak the language. The system dinged. Guan Li felt like his IQ just jumped a few points. Bone. Talk to me in undead. He tried it out. Crackling. Yes, master. Bone said a few things. Guan Li understood every word. No way. Anything from the system is top-notch. Mom doesn't have to worry about me failing language class anymore. Learning the common tongue costs next to nothing, could probably keep it on all the time. He powered down and looked around, making sure nothing was left behind. He turned to leave. As he stepped forward, options popped up. Option 1, keep going straight, find, healing herbs by the road, Option 2, take the road to the left, safe as houses, reward 4-star crystal core X, Option 3, take the path on the right for 10 kilometers, find the goblin tribe, kill the leader, get goblin treasure X, Whoa. Options popping off. Guan Li didn't even think about 1 or 2, free stuff is cool, but the rewards are Bush League, number 3, all the way. He loves the rush, and that prize is amazing. Following the system, he took the path on the right, not trying to spook anyone. He kept most of the soldiers stashed away, just the 4 commanders and a handful of 10 soldiers. As long as the cooldown's up, he can summon them in a heartbeat. Heading down the trail. Tall weeds everywhere, like the path was just cut. He kept his senses on high alert, pushing forward. About a kilometer in, Guan Li caught a huge pit hidden by the weeds. The pit was full of sharp iron spikes. Spikes were over a meter long, enough to give you the chills. A trap. Guan stopped short. Lucky he had his senses going, or he'd be toast. Wouldn't kill him, this kind of thing, maybe just a scratch, but didn't want to mess up his nether regions. Gotta be a goblin trap. Guan Li and the soldiers crouched down, scanning the area with everything they had. His senses suddenly got a major boost. There you are. Gotcha. In the weeds, about 7 meters to the left, 5 goblins squatting low, clubs, axes, spears, the whole 9 yards. Even if someone fell in the trap and lived, they'd rush in to finish the job. Smart race, huh? Too bad they ran into Guan Li. Quiet now. Let's give him a little surprise, Guan Li said telepathically. Soldiers flanked from the left, Guan Li from the right. These goblins gotta go. Or they'll run back and spill the beans, ruining the surprise attack. This is probably a goblin outpost. Ji Li Gu Lu, why aren't the 3 brothers back? Dunno. Forget about them, let's just stick to our posts. The goblins chattering away, every word clear to Guan Li. Yep. Same crew, Guan Li thought. This language thing is legit. Awesome. Gotta love it. He picked up the pace, sneaking closer to the goblins. The soldiers on the other side were in position. Go, Guan Li ordered and jumped up from the grass. The 5 goblins went wide-eyed. What's happening? Ambush time. The goblin in front didn't even know what was going on. Guan Li cut him in half right there. Attack. Get out of here. The remaining 4 goblins booked it. But they turned around and saw 10 soldiers charging. The soldiers started swinging. The goblins got cut off, caught in a crossfire. The 4 goblins were toast, no resistance at all. Guan Li finished them off quick, took out the goblin outpost X5, score 500 points. System chime. 5 goblins dropped 2 blue cards and a 4-star crystal core. Long Chi ate the bodies, cleaned up, no signs left. Moving on. After that little incident, Guan Li got careful, senses wide open, worried about getting stabbed in the back. 6 more kilometers, nothing. Soon, Guan Li got to the goblin tribe. The path suddenly opened up wide. The goblin tribe was in a clearing, surrounded by little wooden camps, dozens of animal skin tents in the camp. P.S. Readers who dig this book, throw me some support, please, and thank you. Chapter 67 Camp Situation. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At the camp entrance, 2 wooden sentry towers stood guard. They were massive and imposing. Each tower housed over 20 goblin sentries, with stockpiles of arrows and rocks ready to drop on unsuspecting intruders. A wooden bridge connected the 2 towers. A dozen goblins, armed with spears, patrolled the bridge. These were no ordinary goblins. Each one was a formidable 4-star warrior. These emerging monsters and mutated creatures posed the greatest threat to humanity's future. The zombies, unless they evolved the ability to reproduce, were destined for eventual extinction. The camp gate stood open, revealing a row of iron-tipped spears, their points gleaming coldly. 5 goblin squads constantly patrolled the perimeter. They were better equipped than the average goblin, sporting animal hide armor that protected most of their bodies. This wasn't just any animal hide, it came from mutated creatures, offering defense comparable to iron armor. Each goblin clutched a blood-stained iron sword. Deeper inside the camp, dozens of tents made from animal hides dotted the landscape. These hides, also sourced from mutant creatures, boasted incredible resilience. Stone pots and pans hung around the tents. A human thigh roasted over a bonfire, and a half-eaten human corpse hung from a nearby rack. Scattered bones littered the ground. Several human skulls adorned the tents as grim decorations. These were undoubtedly survivors from the south side. Unlucky enough to be captured by the goblins, alongside the human remains were carcasses of non-mutated monsters, casualties of the goblin tribe. At the heart of the tent cluster sat an extravagant animal hide tent, several times larger than the others and adorned with far richer decorations. A massive, unidentified skull hung above the entrance. 2 rows of goblin soldiers, acting as guards, stood watch outside. This was undoubtedly the lair of the goblin leader, Guan Li's ultimate target. This goblin camp had been established for quite some time. Despite its rudimentary construction, it was remarkably self-sufficient. The ingenuity of intelligent life was evident. Guan Li now had a solid grasp of the goblin tribe's layout. There was only one entrance, no back door. The camp's wooden walls stood about 6 meters high. Based on his observations, there were at least 100 goblins within, all possessing 4-star strength. The tents likely housed even more. He estimated the entire tribe numbered around 500 goblins, even factoring out women and children. That left at least 400 capable fighters. This was no small force. The legion was outnumbered. Their strength advantage wasn't overwhelming, especially since these goblins were all 4-star warriors, and then there was the goblin leader, whose power was undoubtedly significant. Damn, this is tricky. Guan Li stroked his chin, lost in thought. To fight or not to fight? That was the question. Screw it. Let's do this. Guan Li resolved. He checked the system. The legionnaires wouldn't be resurrected for another 2 hours. Given the timeline, it would be dark by then. Then we strike at night. Guan Li decided to attack the goblin tribe under the cover of darkness. Unlike zombies, goblins were living creatures and vulnerable to the night. You 10, stay here. Guan Li ordered 10 soldiers to hide near the tribe. Monitor their movements. Report any goblins leaving or returning. Understood. The soldiers whispered. With his orders given, Guan Li departed with the leaders. 2 hours remained before the attack, so he couldn't afford to waste time. He would scout the area for any potential opportunities. Guan Li vanished into the jungle. As instructed, the soldiers concealed themselves and observed the goblin tribe. Guan Li's luck struck as he stumbled upon a spirit tree. It grew in a clearing. The ground around it dusted with frost. A single, blue fruit dangled from a small branch. Its energy radiated from afar. As he reached out to pluck it, a monstrous jaw lunged at him. Sneak attack. That's low. Reacting instantly, Guan Li teleported away. His figure vanished. The terrifying maw snapped shut on empty air. Roar. After reappearing, Guan Li identified his attacker. It was a colossal, 5-meter-long frost wolf. Its snow-white fur radiated chilling waves. Solid ice coated its fangs. Name: Frost Wolf. Potential: 7 stars. Strength: 5-star. Primary abilities: Frost Armor, Frost Fangs, Freezing Ray. Description: a monster from an alien world, nourished by the frost fruit, capable of ice-based attacks. Guan Li assessed the beast, and the system provided the intel. Well. My first 5-star monster. Had he not had access to instant teleportation, that attack would have caught him off guard. The frost wolf's eyes scanned the surroundings. These newcomers posed a threat. Guan Li and his 4 commanders were all 4-star advanced fighters, and they had a dragon. 6 powerful figures were enough to make the frost wolf wary. Hesitation crept in as it turned its attention back to the frost fruit. Eager to devour it, though the fruit wasn't fully ripe yet, it couldn't afford to be patient. The situation was critical. Eating it now was better than not eating it at all. Even if the potency was diminished, it was still his for the taking. Trying to steal it? Not on my watch. Guan Li knew the frost wolf's intentions instantly. Irene moved with lightning speed, loosing a piercing arrow charged with devastating power. The air itself seemed to crack. Whoosh. As the arrow flew, the frost wolf sensed the danger. Attempting to eat the fruit meant certain injury. It spun around and lashed out with a paw, deflecting Irene's attack, but this distraction allowed the other commanders to close the distance. Bone swung his greatsword, striking the wolf's side. The thick fur offered resistance, but the sheer force of the blow cut through. The blade sliced into flesh, drawing blood. Roar! The frost wolf retaliated, slamming Bone away. The bone-like figure crashed into a tree, staggering. The frost wolf's blow had nearly broken him. Blood soul slash. Guan Li seized the opportunity, unleashing a crimson wave of energy. Frost armor. Reacting to the attack, the Frost Wolf summoned a layer of ice armor, the bloody energy struck, sending shards of ice flying, crack. The frost armor shattered, turning to fragments. Swordsmanship, Shen Lian capitalized, utilizing the sword control technique, the black iron sword flew, piercing the Frost Wolf's hide, the beast roared in agony, its muscles clenching, trapping the blade, from its maw, a blue light began to form. Ray of Frost, the Frost Wolf's ultimate attack. Chapter 68 Goblin Priest. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Leo smacked his shield, activating the silver taunt, the Frostwolf instantly zeroed in on him, a freezing blast slammed into Leo, Frost immediately coated his shield, the Frostwolf channeled all its rage at Leo, perfect timing on that taunt. If that frost ray had landed anywhere else, the devastation would have been huge. Everyone else was safe, while Leo took the beating. Now, kill it, Guan Li surged forward, after unleashing Ray of Frost, the wolf couldn't immediately do it again, now was their chance, the Frost Wolf was vulnerable. Long Qi dove from the sky, talons extended, he landed on the Frost Wolf's back, and his claws tore into the beast, the Frost Wolf shuddered from the massive assault, *whoosh, star. In the distance, Irene notched another cloud-piercing arrow, seizing her chance, she fired without hesitation, the energy arrow pierced the Frost Wolf's left eye, and blood splattered everywhere. Awoo! The Frost Wolf howled, its claws flailed wildly, a cornered animal's desperate struggle. Long Qi's devouring claws continued ripping into the wolf, tearing away flesh and blood. Guan Li and the other commanders stayed out of the Frostwolf's reach, the more the Frostwolf struggled, the faster it bled out, and the weaker it became. A deadly downward spiral. Hideous gashes crisscrossed the Frostwolf's back, Long Qi reached in with a claw and ripped out its heart. Damn! That's brutal. I love it, Guan Li grinned, he was used to the carnage. Long Qi was exceeding expectations, the Frost Wolf, heartless, collapsed to the ground, killed the Frost Wolf, received 10,000 points, Frost Wolf soul, the system notification chimed, the Frost Wolf was officially dead. Frost Wolf soul, when used, summons a Frost Wolf soul, as powerful as it was in life, immune to death for 3 minutes. Guan Li checked out the system's gift, a pretty cool item, clutching the bloody heart, Long Qi approached Guan Li. He presented his prize respectfully, even separated from the body, the heart still pulsed weakly. Here, you take it. Swallow it down, the heart was useless to Guan Li. Giving it to Long Qi was the best bet, Long Qi's right arm opened a bloody maw, devouring the heart instantly, ding. The Corpse King Dragon devoured the heart of the Frost Wolf and learned Frost Ray. The system notified. Sweet. It learned the skill, Guan Li looked surprised, that devouring claw was incredible. Just by eating flesh and blood, it could get stronger and maybe even learn new abilities. Long Qi's body was the perfect vessel, adapting to any power. Long Qi shot a beam of icy light from its right arm, a nearby tree instantly frosted over. Awesome! Guan Li exclaimed, even though Frost Ray had a 3-minute cooldown, it was still awesome, after all, it was a free ability, and free is good. Guan Li held out his blood-drinking blade, eager for action, he plunged it into the Frostwolf's corpse, countless bloody tendrils snaked out, they greedily absorbed the Frostwolf's flesh and blood, the heart went to Long Qi, the body went to the blood-drinking blade. Everyone gets a little love. Guan Li walked over to the sapling, the frost fruit was fully formed, the sapling, having given its last bit of life, withered quickly, he plucked the fruit from its branch, and felt a biting chill, frost fruit, a fruit from a shattered alternate world, containing powerful ice elemental energy. Can strengthen the Legion and offers a high chance of learning ice elemental power, this was great stuff. Guan Li didn't eat it himself, but gave it to Irene, if the Elven Archer Legion could grasp the ice element, that meant unlimited free frost arrows. That was a major win. Thank you, Master. Irene took the frost fruit and curtsied gracefully, she swallowed the frost fruit, and a chill coursed through her, Irene shivered slightly. A moment later, frost dusted her hair, ding. Congratulations, the Elven Archer Legion has successfully learned the ice element. The system notified him, and Guan Li knew it was a done deal. Irene drew back her bow, and a frost arrow quickly formed, asterisk thwack, star, the frost arrow hit the tree, leaving a thin layer of ice. Not bad at all, Guan Li nodded. They couldn't freeze a 10-meter area like the original, but this was still an accomplishment. A free power-up, no matter what. After the blood-drinking blade finished draining the frost wolf, a bloody glow emanated from the blade. The bloody tendrils pulled out a crystal core and a purple card, handing them to Guan Li. He pocketed the purple card, then began absorbing the 5-star crystal core. Here we go, the crystal core vanished instantly. A river of energy surged through Guan Li. He focused, absorbing the pure energy. Seeing this, the 4 commanders quickly secured the perimeter. They knew Guan Li was breaking through. Pure energy washed over Guan Li's body. The 5-star crystal core was different, the energy much purer than the 4-star kind. Guan Li felt his power grow rapidly. 10 minutes later, a powerful aura emanated from Guan Li. He had broken through to a 5-star novice level. This power. So much, Guan Li threw a few punches, creating gusts of air. He hadn't expected to make such huge gains on this little outing. Not only had he improved his power, reaching 5-star novice, Long Qi and Irene learned new skills as well, plus, there were 10,000 points, a frost wolf soul, and a purple card. Guan Li noticed the sky was growing dark. It was almost time. He checked the Legion system, and the soldiers had been resurrected. Time to head back. On the way back, Guan Li stumbled across a cave. A few goblins stood guard outside, watching their surroundings. Hold up. Something's going on. Guan Li stopped. He told the commander and Long Qi to wait. He uncorked a bottle of invisibility potion and chugged it. Guan Li disappeared from sight. Invisibility potion, the perfect trick. He moved toward the cave, sneaking up quietly. Crack crack. Keep your eyes peeled. If you see anyone coming, give a shout. Lulu. Got it. Guan Li could hear the goblins talking clearly. He grew even more curious about what was inside the cave. Thanks to the invisibility potion, Guan Li sneaked in quietly. The cave was deep. He walked for a few minutes and still couldn't see the end. The invisibility potion was about to wear off, so he drank another one. He went a little further. Guan Li faintly heard voices. Lookabrew. Master Priest. Guan Li saw 2 goblins standing in the deepest part of the cave. One of the goblins was wearing priestly robes. Chapter 69 Conspiracy. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The goblin on the other side was armored. Guan Li chugged another invisibility potion and slipped out of the passage. Venturing deeper into the cave, he found a rock near the opening and hunkered down behind it. Perfect spot. He could clearly hear the 2 goblins talking. Guan Li glanced at them. Name, Goblin Priest, Mare, Potential, 8 stars, Strength, 5-star Intermediate, Ability, Unknown.info, Goblin Tribe Priest, Second in Command, Name, Goblin Brave, Joss, Potential, 8 stars, Strength, 5-star Primary, Ability, Unknown, Evaluation, Goblin Tribe's Champion, Third in Command. The system spat out the info. Whoa! The number 2 and 3 guys are having a secret meeting. This smells like trouble, Guan thought. Spit it out, that he wanted to hear what they said. So. Is everything set? Priest Meyer asked. All ready. We move tonight. I've stirred up 200 goblins in the tribe. The rest are Hao's loyalists. I wouldn't dare touch them. Brave Joss said. Good. Tonight's the night. Hal isn't fit to be a leader. If he keeps screwing around, the tribe's doomed. Priest Meyer said bitterly. You're so right, Priest. Your vision will lead the tribe to glory. Brave Joss sucked up to him. Priest Meyer grinned. Don't worry. After we deal with Hal, I'll get you the top spot. And your brother Boha can be brave. The priest outranks the leader in the tribe. Meyer didn't even want to be leader. He was doing all this because Hal was a pain in the butt. He needed a leader who would listen. Joss the Brave fit the bill. Thank you, Priest. I won't let you down. Joss, the Brave one, beamed and dropped to one knee. He bowed, pledging his loyalty. Good. Get up. Time to get ready. Priest Meyer headed back toward the passage. Guan Li hugged the rock. The invisibility potion was working its magic. Priest Meyer didn't spot him. Right after, Brave Joss took off down the passage. Whoa! Guan Li reappeared. Isn't this better than some soap opera? The conversation had clued Guan Li in. He was loving it. This goblin tribe was falling apart. He could sit back and watch the fireworks. Guan Li was a movie buff. A few minutes later, Guan Li was back at the cave entrance. He scanned the area. Once he was sure the goblins were gone, he left the cave. This was too good to miss. Goblin priests weren't dumb. If they spotted an outsider, they'd band together. To fight amongst themselves, they needed to feel safe first. If they all got wiped out, what was the point? Boss. You okay? The four commanders asked. I'm good. The goblins are about to start a civil war. Let's go watch the show. Guan Li led the commanders back outside the goblin tribe. Night fell, and the tribal camp was lit by fire. The goblins on patrol were alert despite the dark. Guan Li was perched in a big tree. From here, he could see right into the leader's tent in the middle of the camp. The system had resurrected all the legionnaires. All 222 soldiers were ready. Elf shooters, find high ground. The rest of you, lie in ambush around the camp. Guan Li ordered. He wasn't going to pass up this opportunity. All thanks to the goblin priest, this would be easy. The soldiers snuck through the trees. The camp was quickly surrounded. The elf shooters found their spots. Under the leaves, sharp arrows gleamed. Once they were ready, he'd give the word. Then he saw the goblin priest going back to the camp. It was dinner time, and the goblins were eating around the fire. Like Guan Li thought, there were over 500 goblins in the tribe. Priest Meyer kept walking toward the leader's tent. The goblin saluted. Priest Meyer nodded. Master Priest. The guards outside the leader's tent saluted. Is dinner started? Priest Meyer asked. Yes, sir, the guard said. Good. Priest Meyer went into the tent. Inside, some goblin girls were dancing. Of course, Guan Li wasn't impressed. There were tables inside. With fruits, barbecue, and wine. The wine was red, made with who knows what. Master Priest. Have a seat. There was a big table in the middle, with better food than the others. A tall goblin was sitting there, with sharp teeth. He looked mean. His ears were wrinkly. He had a bone necklace. He was muscular. He was wearing fur pants. He was holding 2 hot goblins. Nice to see you. Priest Meyer was polite. It wasn't time to turn on him yet. His seat was right up front. He raised his glass to Hal. Cheers to the tribe. Hal smiled. You're too kind. The wine tasted like blood. The goblins loved it. Good wine. Priest Meyer said. Drink up. Don't go home sober. Hal said. Of course. Priest Meyer said, thinking, I'll send you home myself. Hal was stronger than him, and most of the guys in the tent were Hal's men. He only brought a few guards. Priest Meyer was waiting. Time passed. This is boring. When's the fun gonna start? He'd been waiting for a half hour. He'd eaten all the snacks he bought. But nothing was happening in the tent. Chapter 70. You are listening at novelfull.audio. That 25-year-old kid? He's gotta be a coward, right? Guan Li was suspicious. He was about to use his invisibility potion to sneak a peek. Then, chaos erupted in the camp. Showtime. Guan Li plopped down, and a bag of chips materialized in his hand. The goblin patrol shifted direction, heading towards a tent in the corner. Master Brave. They swapped out our guys at the sentry tower. Master Buha, your squad's ready to roll. Waiting for orders. The goblin squad leader announced. These patrolling goblins were the first ones they'd turned. They'd been griping about the goblin leader for ages. All right. What are Hal's lackeys up to? Brave Joss asked. Pfft. They're still pounding drinks, chowing down on meat, and getting cozy with the ladies. A patrol captain snickered. Don't sweat it. We take out Hal, and tonight's a party. The tribe's beauties. First pick's yours. Before the fight even started, Brave Joss was dangling the carrot. Gotta fire up the troops, you know. We'll fight for the brave. The patrolling goblins shouted. quick to pledge their loyalty. Nah. You're fighting for the priest. Brave Joss corrected with a grin. For the priest, and the brave, the patrolling goblins' morale soared. Let's move out, Brave Joss barked the order. Over 100 goblins trailed behind him, heading for the leader's tent in 2 silent groups, moving under the cover of the trees. Timing's everything. Brave Joss should be hitting any minute now, Priest Meyer thought to himself. Hey! Brave! What's going on? Arg! The guard at the door challenged them, followed immediately by a scream, clang, clang. Weapons clashed, shouts and screams filled the air, the sudden commotion jolted the goblins inside the tent awake, the booze-induced haze quickly faded. That lowlife Joss! How dare he turn on me, Leader Hal roared, furious. He shoved the goblin girl aside and stormed out of the tent. Leader Hal brushed past Priest Meyer, who seized the opportunity and silently chanted a spell. A bolt of searing flame shot out. My lord! Watch out! A loyal goblin shoved Hal out of the way, taking the full force of the fire magic and instantly turning to ash. The blast was strong enough to have seriously wounded Hal. As it was, he only suffered minor burns. Arg! Damn it! Mel! You betrayed me, too? Leader Hal realized what had happened. The double-cross enraged him. He threw a punch, aiming straight for Priest Meyer. Priest Meyer chanted another incantation. A protective barrier shimmered into existence in front of him. The force of the punch slammed into the barrier shattered instantly, but it gave Priest Meyer the chance to dodge out of the way. Hal! Your time's up, Priest Meyer yelled, dashing out of the tent. Damn you! You two-faced bastards, Leader Hal roared, hot on his heels, as a dozen of his loyal goblins scrambled to follow. Bursting out of the tent, Leader Hal found himself surrounded. Hundreds of heavily armed goblins stood ready with weapons in hand. You all betrayed me, Leader Hal couldn't believe it. We follow the priest's orders. You're done, the goblin soldiers chanted. From inside the tent, screams echoed. Leader Hal knew instantly that his subordinates were being slaughtered. You think you can take me with this trash? Leader Hal snarled, smashing the nearest goblin with a single punch. Blood splattered, and he felt a surge of adrenaline. Kill them all. Wipe out these rebels, Leader Hal bellowed. He punched and kicked. The surrounding goblins fell like flies. Even wounded, Leader Hal was a force to be reckoned with. Hal! You're fighting me now, Brave Joss charged forward, swinging a huge sword at Leader Hal. Humph! A mere 5-star junior. You dare challenge me, Leader Hal sneered. He unleashed a punch that collided with the sword. Ha! What the hell? Your strength. Something's wrong, Leader Hal realized what was happening. Meyer! You scum, he roared. In the distance, Priest Meyer chanted. A steady stream of light flowed from him, pouring into Brave Joss. That's how priests work, they can channel their power into a chosen target, doubling its strength. Brave Joss had been just a 5-star junior, but with this blessing, he was almost a 5-star high level. Now he was a match for Leader Hal. Guan Li watched from a distance, holding a telescope. At this rate, they'll never take down the goblin. Swing harder. You haven't eaten today? Yeah. Now you're talking. Knock his block off. Nice, Guan Li cheered as he watched the brawl, more exciting than any game. He took a moment to check out Leader Hal. Name, Goblin Leader, Hal. Potential, 9 stars. Strength, 5-star advanced. Ability, unknown. Introduction, the leader of the goblin tribe, controlling hundreds of goblins, a well-deserved boss. The system displayed the information. Leader Hal was putting up a good fight, facing the combined might of the priest and the brave. He was holding his own. I'm going to tear you apart, Leader Hal roared, sending Brave Joss reeling with a punch. Humph. You're going down tonight, Brave Joss slashed, drawing a line of blood across his opponent's body. Crazy blade, Brave Joss channeled his energy into the blade and swung. Breaking energy fist, Leader Hal's muscles tensed, and terrifying energy gathered in his fist. Boom. The two energies collided in an earth-shattering explosion. Brave Joss's armor was ripped to shreds. Leader Hal wasn't faring much better. Bruised and bleeding, he was starting to wear down. How? I admit you're tough. Even with the priest, we might not be able to kill you. But I've got numbers on my side. Bulha. Finish him, Brave Joss commanded. A hulking goblin rushed towards Leader Hao, swinging a massive sword that opened a deep gash. Leader Hao blocked the attack with his fists, but the constant fighting was taking its toll. Eat this, Brave Joss and Bulha attacked together. Exhausted, Leader Hao left an opening. His right arm was sliced off. Get away from me, Hao snarled, forcing them back. Eyes bloodshot, he gasped for breath. You're a dead man. Brave Joss raised his sword, ready to deliver the final blow. Irene. Stop them. Guan Li tossed aside his chips and shouted, the Leader Hao can be disabled, but not killed. He wanted that head. Whoosh. A cold arrow pierced through Joss's arm. Ack. Who did that? Brave Joss cried out, whirling around, enraged. Troops. Prepare to fight. Guan Li pocketed the telescope. The show was over, time for him to make his entrance. P.S. If you're enjoying the book, please show your support. Thanks.